Last week on our show, we asked, what kind of country allows itself to be invaded, by migrants, just let anybody in. This week, we're asking what kind of country bankrupts itself at ever greater speeds. I mean, I remember going to school. I don't remember learning in school that, our amazing U.S. Constitution says, oh, yeah, just let anybody in, give them free stuff, and let them vote, so they can vote for more free stuff, or to spend money beyond their means so that they ultimately can't even pay the interest and eventually go bankrupt and default. I don't remember learning this stuff in school about government. I heard about checks and balances. I remember that. Where did that go? So what is it? Why is our government like this? And my guess is it's desperation. They are frantically trying to achieve an unachievable goal, which is ruling the world. And this is their goal. This is not our goal as a people. They want to subjugate the world to, so it does, the rules-based order, as it's called. And again, none of this is in our Constitution, which they swear to uphold when they get into office, having 1,000 bases all over, endless wars. What do you think this Ukraine is all about? This has nothing to do with us. Nobody's bothering us over here, or the Middle East, or maybe someday Taiwan. This is all this crazy goal of wanting to rule the world, which goes back, everybody's tried it. So now America is taking its crack and getting the same exact results. It's failing out there, but even, at the same exact time, it's destroying what's happening here, and that needs to change.
So it's a system that doesn't work. It will not be cured by tinkering. It is only going to be cured when people admit it doesn't work. Interventionism and Keynesianism doesn't work. And it will only be when we think that maybe the founders had a little bit of advice for us, how, have sound money and limit the government's interference in the marketplace. Maybe we would get somewhere with that. Chris?
That's for sure, Dr. Paul. And the founders, the U.S. Constitution was meant to chain down the power of government. Well, those chains have been broken long ago. We have the biggest government in the history of the world, not just in the world, in the history of the world. I found out this last week, I think it was, that the federal government employs 23 million people. That is incredible. That is the size of a state. They could federal government employees can have their own state. That's how big it is. And they extract trillions and trillions of dollars from us per year in taxes, but that's not even enough because they run deficits. They're 34 trillion in debt. So the problem in our society is clearly not us, the people. We're doing our jobs. We pay our taxes. Thank goodness we have each other. There's people that will feed me. If something breaks in my house, they'll come out and fix it. The problem is not in the country itself. The problem is in Washington, D.C., and they really don't care. But what do they do specifically? They say the problem is us. They're constantly telling us how horrible we are, that we're all racists, that we're all misogynists, that nobody wants women to get ahead, that we're xenophobic and hate everybody out there. Now, why would they do this? Why would they create this? And that the reason is to divide us so that we fight with each other so that you don't pay attention to what they're doing. There's no unity, so they'll just keep going. Nobody's going to stop them. There has to, at some point, be some form of unity. Now, obviously, everybody's not going to agree on everything, but we should agree, libertarian, conservative, liberal, far left, far right, that this government is destroying us financially. And even by letting everybody in, they're destroying, who we are here. So, and it's all because we're divided. We need to at least gain some kind of unity, some kind of basic thing that, hey, we don't want to live like this anymore.
Yes, and that is absolutely true, and it's going to continue. You were talking about the government employees, but But what about the million or so that are pouring across our borders who displace some of the people who are struggling to make a living, who have built? I just saw a number the other day of how many hospitals have had to be closed in just the last several years. It's just horrible. In a free market, you would have more hospitals, more medical services. But now, because it's a government operation, you say, oh no, you could still pick your doctor. Oh yeah, that's what they told you. Join up on this program, the government will allow you to pick your own doctor. It's a government government-run medical system, and if you want to see a good example of that is how they regulated and took care of COVID by denying the good medicines and having people take the bad medicine and put people in jail or fire them and give them all kinds of trouble. Doctors losing licenses. That's what government medicine gives you. So I think there's enough known about the principles of liberty to really improve our system of government. The problem is, once again, more people have to be, once they're convinced of this, to be promoters of this philosophy, because what is coming is not going to be good. And it's a lot easier to start these wars. It's a lot harder to get out of these wars without a lot of tragedy. And that's what we're thinking right now. The most recent one is Ukraine. We sneaked into that war, precipitated it, with participating in a coup. And now look at us on, and everybody's giving up. Oh, the Ukrainians can't win, but we have to keep sending money. We maybe have to send some troops and all that. That is a bunch of nonsense. It's going to end, and it will lead to the anarchy that they blame libertarians would bring about by having less government. The answer to it is not more government. The answer to it is having limited government to protect liberty, not to manage all of our affairs.